Hello, I am Dr. Kathleen Hall, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for. It's been a roller coaster year with the election, with natural disasters, with everything in the world, wars. So many of us at this season are feeling pretty confused and I don't know, disillusioned maybe, some very happy, some very sad, some confused. Also maybe filled with a lot of hate, a lot of grief, and everything else. So, what I thought of was I was with a childhood cancer survivor yesterday, and she had been at CHOA, the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, here in Atlanta, and I was talking to her, and she was talking about how grateful she was every day of her life for the teams of people that she didn't know if they were red or blue or Muslim or Christian or whatever. And so she just poured out this heart of absolute love for humankind. And I just was so inspired. I came back today because I haven't done a podcast in a very long time. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pop this one out because it reminded me of a very, very valuable story for every one of us. I was at Children's Healthcare. I was a chaplain many years ago. And my rotation absolutely was horrible. It was on the cancer floor because I was trying to figure out suffering, why we suffered, what could we learn from it. How come some people are resilient, some people aren't? So the team at Emory said, hey, we're going to send you to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We're going to send you to Scottish Rite as a chaplain for months and let you actually work with people and their families at some of the most devastating times in their life. So anyway, they sent me out there, and the head chaplain of the whole Scottish Rite, her name was Judy Wolf, and she is an absolute saint. I do not know how many decades she worked out there. But now this is before all the big cancer cures. This would be like 30 years ago. So this was when kids were dying of cancer and diseases and accidents in the emergency room in droves because they came to CHOA, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We're a magnet, the biggest place in the South, in this whole area. So this woman has been through the bowels of hell all these years. And I met with her and she said, you know, you're going to learn a lot here. You're going to learn a whole lot. And she said, where'd you come from? And I said, well, I come from a very type A driven family, sales, marketing, entrepreneurs, dare to be great, always do big things, prepare, conquer the world, and I said, and then I worked on Wall Street on the 104th floor of the World Trade Center myself. My first life was in finance and venture capital. I, was into conquering the world. If you can't do something big, you don't do anything. So she's listening to me talk about this big previous life I had of being the best and the biggest. And that's how I was raised in this big family and, go, go, go. And she's very patiently behind the desk looking at me. And she goes, well, we're going to have a great time together. And you'll learn many things about yourself. Little did I know. So they decided to put me on the cancer wing with children of every age, months old, years old, that were diagnosed with terminal cancers. So these families came in and I know what can you say? What do you say except utter silence? So I did this and we had weekly meetings, support group meetings with Judy, and she would give us counseling on, what to say, what not to say, when to do rituals for them in the dying process for these children and their families that were flying in or coming in. And it's the darkest time of their life. And they will remember this forever too. So that's a really important thing. This is not a transitional thing that they're with us. This is something they will remember for the rest of their life. So we did this and I did this for the first month. And then the second month came and I just couldn't take it anymore. Everybody was dying. I felt helpless. None of my dads or the entrepreneur or the business community, none of my training and my environment of take pork chop hill. You can do this. You can overcome this. Dare to be great. Do great things. Do important things. If it's not important and if it's not leaving a legacy, don't even try to do it. All of those tapes that I had were just burst. My whole life was burst apart like a balloon, and I didn't know what to do. I was totally disabled. And so one afternoon, I couldn't function. I couldn't go home. I had 2 daughters, a husband. I could not drive the car in Atlanta home that day. I had lost a baby, I think was 18 months old, and a 3-year-old. And I was paralyzed. The grief was overwhelming. So anyway, I will never forget this. I go up and I tell Judy that I have to quit. I said, I can't do this. I'm no good. I'm awful. I'm a terrible person. I'm not strong enough to do this. And I will never, as long as I live. This is 2024. So this was almost 30 years ago. And silence. There was total silence. And she smiled. And she walked over to her wall. And she picked up this little plaque. And she walked over and handed it to me. And she said, could you please read this to me? And it said, it was a quote by Mother Teresa. And it said, I can do no great things. I can only do small things with great love. I read it out loud and just burst out crying. So I held the plaque on my lap and I cried. And she said, my darling, we all can only do small things with great love. You were raised that if you can't do anything great, don't even hardly try it, or it's got to be great, good, better, best. This is where hearts are broken and lives are destroyed. We can only do great things with small love. Great things. Small things, with great love. So it changed my life. Totally changed my life. Everything in my life, from my children to my husband, to walking into Publix or Kroger and letting somebody in front of me or handing them something small or saying something like, I love that blouse, or, helping somebody reach something that they couldn't reach. Anything in my life, everything changed forever. I can do no great things, only small things with great love. I went to stand up to leave her office. I went to hand her the plaque back, and she pushed it into my chest. And she said, Kathleen, I think you need to keep this. And it had been there so long. I looked up on the wall and there was a dust mark around it, kind of a mark that when you kept something on the wall so long, the paint had changed. She was giving me something so dear to her that it had been on her wall forever. Guess where it is now? It's on the wall, hanging right over my office, right over my desk, right over my computer, so that every day, Mother Teresa and Judy Wolf are telling me you can do no great things, but only small things with great love. So here we are at Thanksgiving, at a time of people being confused, disoriented. The world seems upside down for many people. Many people feel like they've won the greatest victory that's ever happened. But we all know if we're old enough, that too passes. Life's a roller coaster. It's ups and downs. It's turned around. You get the biggest shock when you think you're on a straight path. It's an amazing life. And so I just wanted to pass along that you can create miracles in people's lives every day, and create a miraculous life. I've had one of the most incredible lives anybody could have ever lived, ever. And I feel like it's a time in my life to pass on some of the lessons that I've learned that have made, whether it's been a 50-year marriage, to a wonderful physician, a guy who's a servant in every cell of his body, one of the most kind, gentle people you would ever meet. And we've shared ups, downs, sideways, almost leaving each other, everything for 50 years. We just celebrated that. It's huge. Our daughter, who happens to be a critical care ICU physician, total servant. She is with people when they have to make the most difficult and hard decisions of their life. And she joyfully and peacefully does it. Well, my friends, I'm beyond blessed. Business, career, books I've written. And I thought, at this stage of my life, if I'm going to leave the planet soon, maybe today, I don't even know who knows when, that a lot of these life lessons I want to share with younger people so that you don't suffer as much like I did. You don't take the long way around the world. Maybe you can snip it a little, stitch it a little, cut out a little, do a little more joyful, happy life. But whatever it is, I'm hoping that I can pass on some wisdom, because I want you to have just the most vulnerable, real, productive, happy, just an amazing, meaningful life. That's how I would say it. A meaningful life, an intentional life. So remember, it's Thanksgiving. It's the holiday season. It's a magical season. And it's time for you to open your heart and your mind and bring magic into the world. And remember, you too, you can do no great things. Okay? Because even if you think they're great, I mean, I've done a lot of great things, but it was only by Judy Wolfe's lesson and Mother Teresa's of focusing on, I can do no great things, only small things that pile up, small things with great love, and what a legacy you will leave. Have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you. Blessings to you and your family and to your life. Thank you.